In the ever-evolving world of technology, not every giant stays on top. Today, we're diving into the stories of once dominant tech companies and where they stumbled. We're talking about the big dogs, the ones who seemed untouchable, until they weren't. What went wrong? What could they have done differently, and what can we learn from their downfalls? Welcome to Mind Maven, where we explore intriguing tech histories and lessons from the past. So, buckle up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's unravel the mysteries behind these tech titans' falls from grace. Our first stop takes us back to the days when Nokia ruled the mobile phone world. Remember those indestructible Nokia phones? Yeah, they were everywhere. Nokia was a brand known for its reliability and user-friendly design. They practically invented the smartphone with the Nokia communicator, a device ahead of its time. But here's where things get interesting. As touchscreens and app stores started gaining traction, Nokia seemed hesitant, almost resistant to embrace the change. They stuck with their Symbian operating system, which, while functional, felt increasingly outdated compared to the rising star iOS and Android. The iPhone, with its sleek design and intuitive interface, took the world by storm. And Android, with its open-source nature and customizable experience, wasn't far behind. Nokia, meanwhile, struggled to keep up. Their attempt at a touchscreen phone, the N97, was plagued with software issues and couldn't compete with the fluid experience of its rivals. By the time Nokia finally adopted Windows Phone, it was too little, too late. The damage was done. The once mighty Nokia, slow to adapt and hesitant to innovate, had lost its crown. It's a classic tale of a company resting on its laurels, failing to see the seismic shift happening right under its nose. Before Facebook dominated our social lives, there was Friendster. Launched in 2002, Friendster was the original social networking site, connecting people online before it was even. It allowed users to create profiles, connect with friends, and share messages, features we now take for granted. Friendster's popularity exploded, quickly amassing millions of users. It was a place to be online, connecting people across the globe. But here's the thing about being first, you become the target. Competitors saw Friendster's success and smelled opportunity. Enter MySpace and, of course, Facebook. While Friendster grappled with technical issues and slow loading times, MySpace swooped in with its customizable profiles and focus on music. Facebook, with its clean interface and emphasis on real-name connections, started attracting a wider audience. Friendster, instead of innovating and addressing its shortcomings, seemed content with its initial success. They were slow to introduce new features, and their attempts to monetize the platform felt clunky and intrusive. As a result, users flocked to the newer, shinier platforms that offered better performance and a more engaging experience. Remember the iconic BlackBerry phones with their physical keyboards? They were the epitome of business cool, synonymous with productivity and that satisfying click-clack of the keys. BlackBerry, once known as Research in Motion, RIM, had a chokehold on the enterprise market. Their phones were secure, reliable, and perfect for sending those all-important work emails on the go. But the world was changing, and the rise of the iPhone and Android phones brought with it a new era of mobile computing. Touchscreens became the norm, and apps transformed how we interacted with our phones. BlackBerry, however, remained stubbornly attached to its physical keyboard and its focus on email, failing to recognize the seismic shift in consumer preferences. Their attempts at a touchscreen phone like the Storm were met with lukewarm reception. The software felt clunky compared to the smooth experience of iOS and Android, and the lack of a robust app ecosystem further hindered its appeal. BlackBerry, slow to adapt and seemingly resistant to change, clung to its fading glory. The once ubiquitous BlackBerry, its keyboard no longer a symbol of status, but a reminder of a bygone era, faded into obscurity. It's a cautionary tale of a company failing to evolve with the times, a company so focused on its past success that it missed the future unfolding before its very eyes. In the early days of the internet, Yahoo was a pioneer. It was web portal, the go-to destination for news, email, search, and everything in between. Yahoo was a behemoth, a digital giant with its fingers in every pie. But as the internet matured, Yahoo seemed to lose its way, making a series of strategic blunders that ultimately led to its downfall. One of Yahoo's biggest missteps was its failure to recognize the importance of search. While Google was laser-focused on refining its search algorithm and delivering highly relevant results, Yahoo treated search as just another feature on its sprawling portal. Then there were the missed opportunities. Yahoo had a chance to acquire Google in its early days, but passed on the offer. They also fumbled the ball with Facebook, failing to acquire the social media giant when they had the chance. These decisions or indecisions would come back to haunt Yahoo. As Google and Facebook rose to become the titans of the tech world, internally Yahoo seemed to struggle with its identity. Was it a technology company or a media company? This lack of focus led to a series of CEO changes and strategic pivots that only served to further confuse the company's direction. Before smartphones became ubiquitous, there was Palm. The company pioneered the PDA, the precursor to the smartphone, with its Palm Pilot devices. These handheld devices were revolutionary for their time, allowing users to manage their calendars, contacts, and tasks with ease. Palm's graffiti handwriting recognition was surprisingly accurate for its time, further adding to the appeal of its devices. Palm's strength lay in its software. The Palm OS was intuitive, efficient, and perfectly suited for the limited hardware capabilities of early PDAs. But as technology advanced and smartphones began to take shape, Palm struggled to keep pace. The arrival of the iPhone in 2007 changed everything. The iPhone wasn't just a phone, it was a pocket computer with a beautiful touchscreen interface, a robust app store, and a level of computing power that dwarfed anything Palm had to offer. Palm's response, the Palm Pre, while innovative in its own right with its WebOS operating system, couldn't compete with the iPhone's app ecosystem and Apple's marketing muscle. Despite its early dominance in the handheld market, Palm's failure to adapt its operating system for the smartphone era and its inability to compete with the iPhone's app ecosystem led to its demise. Palm's story is a reminder that being first doesn't guarantee lasting success. In the world of personal computers, Compaq was once a giant. Founded in 1982, Compaq quickly rose to prominence by producing IBM-compatible PCs that were more affordable and, in some cases, even outperformed IBM's own offerings. Compaq's focus on affordability and innovation propelled it to the top of the PC market. However, Compaq's success was short-lived. As the PC market matured and competition intensified, Compaq found itself caught in a race to the bottom. Companies like Dell emerged, offering even lower prices by selling directly to consumers and cutting out the middleman. Compaq, burdened by its large size and complex supply chain, struggled to compete on price. Its attempts to differentiate itself through innovation were met with mixed results. The company's acquisition of Digital Equipment Corporation, once a tech giant in its own right, proved to be a costly mistake, further adding to Compaq's woes. In the end, Compaq, weakened by its price wars and burdened by its acquisition missteps, was acquired by Hewlett-Packard, HP, in 2002. Compaq's story is a reminder that even giants can stumble when faced with relentless competition and a failure to adapt to changing market dynamics. As we've journeyed through the stories of these fallen tech giants, some common threads emerge. A resistance to change, a failure to innovate, and a lack of foresight ultimately led to their downfalls. These companies, once at the forefront of innovation, became victims of their own success, clinging to outdated business models and failing to adapt to the ever-changing technological landscape. These stories serve as cautionary tales, reminding us that in the tech world, standing still is not an option. The only constant is change. And companies that fail to embrace innovation and adapt to evolving consumer demands risk suffering the same fate as these fallen giants. So the next time you see a new technology emerging, ask yourself, what would Nokia, Friendster, BlackBerry, Yahoo, Palm, or Compaq do? Then do the opposite. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with more fascinating tech histories on Mind Maven.